What is going on, everybody? Quancredible here with the review for Four Nights of Apocalypse Chapter 24. I would like to apologize on the bit later review than usual. I couldn't get it done last night, like Tuesday night, and then I was trying to get done with everything earlier today to have it out for you guys, but I had to help my grandma move, so like there wasn't really much I could do. But the review is here nonetheless, and honestly, this chapter not like some people are really hype about it. I mean, me personally, like,
It's all right.
the big thing in the end, like, I won't say it yet, but I'll talk about it. I'm kind of hyped, but it's like whatever to me at the exact same time. We'll like organically go through it. But anyway, in this chapter, they're basically pretty far away from Sustainia at this point. Like, they've walked a decent bit, and honestly, not a lot with the main group here. Basically have Annie, who is really pumped to be away. Obviously, this is probably her first time actually away from her village, and she's also on her true adventure, so she's excited, basically saying like her adventure is truly starting now. And in the midst of her excitement, it is Donnie who is the one to kind of bring her back to reality, saying that, like, your dad promised to give us a horse for all for doing everything that we had did. So what is this? And like the horse that he gave her, a Sylvan, looks like Sylvan looks like not the horse anybody would want. Honestly, I don't know how many of you guys are One Piece fans, but this horse reminds me of what is it, of the camel from the Alabasta arc. I can't remember if the camel Lashes. It was Lashes. I don't know why I remembered that, but the camel Lashes from One Piece. It kind of reminds me of that guy for some reason. Not like because, like, I mean, Lashes didn't look goofy, but like it was kind of like this comedic animal companion. Not really like how Sin is. How Sin's an actual character, but like, nothing against Sylvan, but he just seems he has like a comedy type deal to me. Also, a very interesting thing here is that Donnie is the one still holding on to the dragon handle key or sword, whatever you want to call it, which is very interesting. It could point to maybe this could be Donnie's weapon or sacred treasure, some or whatever he could potentially use, since he's the one who just has it still. Definitely very curious there. I almost feel like I want to make a video about that, but I'm not sure. I want to know what you guys think is going to be the future of the dragon handle. So, like, do you guys think Donnie is going to keep it and use it, or is it going to go to Percival or maybe another person in the group, or is this just a coincidence thing and Donnie just hasn't really done anything with it? I guess I just want to know some other people's opinions on that. But basically, in the midst of their journey, Sylvan can't keep up, so they are forced to take a impromptu break, and we get like this funny moment from Sin, with Sin and Sylvan, basically Sin saying, "Hey, if you can't keep up, we're gonna have horse kebabs tonight." And this is really interesting here because the people who think Sin is Bond, this is definitely a point in their favor, because when Sin's eye opens up a little bit, it literally looks just like Bond's eyes. Like, Bond's eyes look exactly like Sin's eyes, or Sin's eyes look like Bond's eyes, however you want to take it. And honestly, the people that think Bond is Sin, I'm not mad at that assumption because it makes a lot of sense. Like, his name is Sin, he's a fox, Bond, the fox Sin, so I get it. I get the connection. But like, for me, I'm not sold. I'm just not sold on Sin being Bond, strictly because of like how Sin talks isn't how Bond talks. Like, cuz Bond, he always has the little music notes like after everything he says in the manga for Seven Deadly Sins. That's the main thing for me. Like, if we had those, I would think it was Bond. But like, their personalities kind of seem different, and the way they talk is different. That's like the only thing that I'm holding out on. But if people who think it is Bond, I'm not mad at it. And if it turned out to be Bond, I wouldn't be mad at it either. But moving on, we do have Sin revealed to Annie that they are on their way to Leonis, and that's where they are currently, heading to. Like, that is the main goal. As you guys have heard me, I'm so ready to get there. I want them, like, I'm ready to see Meliodas. And Annie feels the same way I do, where she's really pumped up. She's excited that is where they're going. She's a huge nerd for the Seven Deadly Sins, Meliodas especially. And this is where you kind of get another one of those moments for anybody who didn't read Seven Deadly Sins. They kind of give a very brief backstory, or not backstory, but just a brief explanation on who the Seven Deadly Sins are. The traders that saved, the Kingdom of Leonis countless times from the top holy knights. Also, Annie noting that a lot of the top holy knights in general are from Leonis. I mean, obviously she's talking about the Seven Deadly Sins, but I'm pretty sure Gil Thunderhauser, Gila, Jericho, I'm pretty sure all of them are top caliber holy knights just in Britannia in general. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if, if they were up there in like that, like, Hall of Fame of holy knights, whatever, or whatever you would want to call it. But it is also in this moment that Annie asks which one of them are the leader of this group, saying that, since they're all traveling together and they're a team, it would be more efficient for one of them to be a leader or to have a designated leader to, direct people in those kind of times, which is she is true, but at the same time, I guess it's not really that important. I mean, for the chapter itself, it wasn't really that like super thought provoking or interesting, but I thought it was fun to see the dynamic there and how she broke everybody down. Percival, like she said, is definitely the best fighter, but not really leader material since he is very, very naive and doesn't really kind of know what's going on. Nanson's does have that kind of like leader material to him, but not quite him either. And then she called Donnie bait, which is like kind of it could like Donnie will surprise us, and I feel like it makes me excited for more of Donnie in the future of this because Donnie definitely has a lot to him. I feel like I say that a lot. I feel like a lot of people have high expectations for Donnie, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. So basically, she did all this just to make herself seem like the best candidate, which realistically, out of this group, she is the best candidate. But in my mind, I feel like it's Sin because Sin pretty much tells everybody what to do, or at least thus far, Sin's been telling everybody what to do. But we're gonna see like how her and Sin's dynamic is gonna go on, especially with their two especially with Anne and Sin's interaction a little bit after this. But basically, Sin pulls out a map of kind of like where they started and where they are trying to get to, and Sin basically says that they should stop at this town before crossing the mountain range so they can prepare for their journey. And Annie says no, she wants to just go straight for the mountain range to get to Leonis as quickly as possible. And Tim basically saying that they need to prepare, and almost nobody makes it over the mountain range alive without prep. And this is when Annie pulls his card and says, "Oh, you're lying again." And this is like what I've really wanted ever since like Annie kind of got introduced, is more interactions with her and Sin, because like Sin is clearly shady. Like Sin is super shady. And like Annie, her ability to see, if people are being truthful or not is like really, really big. So it makes me wonder, because Sin just sits there. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't make any like remarks or any faces. He just sits there. So it makes me wonder, is he actually lying, or was he able to fool her ability, or is it just Annie's, intense will to want to go straight there, clouding her own judgment? Like, I just kind of want to see where this goes. And sorry to go back to the Sin thing, but this is another thing why I don't think Bond is Sin, is that Bond didn't lie all like that. Like, Bond really wasn't much of a liar or a shady person. I know that sounds weird to say, considering he was a thief, but like the kind of thief he was is he does steal things, but he's not a liar. Like, that sounds horrible to say. That really does. But Bond is actually really upfront. He's a really upfront guy. So like, I feel like if it was him, he wouldn't be this shady. Like if Sin was Bond, he wouldn't be that shady. That's like, those are like my main two things there, is what I said earlier in that. But back into the actual chapter though. But basically, I'm assuming that everybody is all, in unison, saying that, we're going to go straight there to the mountains and not stop at the side town, which honestly I'm happy for, because it seems like every time they stop, it's a whole side adventure. And like I've been saying, I want them to get to Leonis as fast as possible for that Meliodas hype. And then after that, we do flash over to this bar, have a character ordering more of that Aberdeen ale, and he's already drunk, and they're asking should they kick him out, and they're like, no, best leave him be. He's the leader of the Holy Knights Corps, and that would be Hauser, who is still acting leader, because I remember they appointed him to the spoilers, obviously, if you haven't seen Seven Deadly Sins. I don't know how much longer I'm going to do the whole spoiler thing, but I'll do it for this one. Spoilers if you're not, caught up on it. But Hauser, towards the end of Seven Deadly Sins, did end up becoming the leader of the Holy Knights, which is really dope for him. What's really weird in this chapter, though, because like when you see him in the end, he looks relatively the same. I mean, yeah, he has some scruff, but I remember him growing a beard. Like, I remember for like the last chapter, I thought he grew a beard. So I guess he shaved it off, like his beard mustache, for whatever reason, and he's wearing, it appears to be the same clothes he wore in the Basel Fight Festival. Granted, we can't see his bottom half, like we can't see his pants, but that vest looks very reminiscent of what he was wearing. So I guess Hauser's fashion sense and his appearance really hasn't changed in 16 years, which is odd, very weird to me. And the fact that Hauser is by himself drinking is also a little strange, because Hauser is typically always accompanied by Gil Thunder in some way, shape, or form, or Griamore. Like, usually he's with one of them, if not both. Like, he's not really a guy that you see by himself a lot. So, makes you wonder, like, what's going on. And then Hauser's a really cheery, happy guy, typically. So, him drinking alone in a bar is very suspicious. So, it makes you wonder, did something recently happen, or has he been upset like this for a while? Or what has Hauser at this bar drunk, drinking alone? It's just, there's a lot of things going on. Like, maybe he did, like, some of his comrades lose to the Camelot Knights, or did something else happen? Like, I mean, he currently is still acting like Grandmaster of the Holy Knights, clearly, because we get that from them. But I wonder what's the situation with everybody else. You can kind of only speculate from here on that one. As far as my own prediction on what it could be, I have no idea. I have no idea what can make Hauser be in this kind of way outside of just some of the things that I suggested earlier. Way too vague for us to know. I'm not. I see. It makes you wonder, are they going to bump into Hauser on the way? That would be actually really nice, because they could get some impromptu training probably along the mountain range, which would be nice before they reach Leonis, to get kind of traveling and training at the same time. I love training. Like big things for me in stories, flashbacks and training arcs. I love them. So I'd be happy if we got, especially some Hauser training. I was a fan of Hauser. But not like a crazy huge fan. There's definitely other knights that I liked more, like Gil Thunder and freaking Gila and random other people too. But Hauser's cool though. I do appreciate him. But as for this chapter as a whole, it wasn't like super crazy. Like I was saying at the beginning, it was just pretty basic. So I mean, honestly, I'd probably give it like 6.5. I mean, if you're really pumped for the Hauser reveal, I could see somebody giving it a 7. But honestly, 6.5. Didn't really much happen. No crazy reveals, no crazy information, nothing all like that. So I mean, it was just a decent chapter. It wasn't bad by any means. Definitely wasn't bad. Like I said, down below, I am curious to know you guys' thoughts on the chapter and how you guys felt about it. How you guys feel about the Hauser reveal at the very end. You guys, like, what you guys think is going to happen? Like, are they going to run into him and go with him, or is this something totally separate? Also, what could possibly be bugging Hauser? Like, did something happen to Gil Thunder? Did something happen to, the Holy Knights? Is stuff okay on Leonis? Like, does he just have a rock in his shoe? Like, what could be wrong with Hauser and why he looks like this? Because he really never does, if you remember how he is. But I am curious to know you guys' thoughts on all that down below. Also, how you guys feel about Sin. I am curious about that one too. But aside from all that, make sure you guys like the video, so subscribe to the channel. Apologies again for the late review. I just had a lot of stuff to do. I hope you guys find it in your hearts to forgive me. I'm going to try to get better really soon here. Aside from that though, I have nothing else to say. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all in my next video.